and we present East by Steven Berkoff from 1975. Scene 1. The stage is bare but for 5 chairs in a line upstage, whereby the cast act as chorus for the events that are spoken, mimed, and acted. A piano just off stage creates mood, adds tension, and introduces themes. A large screen upstage center has projected on it a series of real East End images, commenting and reminding us of the actual world just outside the stage. The cast enter and sit on 5 chairs facing front. Piano starts up, and they all sing "My Old Man Says Follow the Van," out of order and in canon and descants. It comes suddenly to a stop. Mike and Les cross to 2 oblong spotlights, images of 2 prisoners photographed for the Criminal Hall of Fame. They pose 3 times before speaking. Dad, Mum, and Sylv speak as a chorus. Donate a snout, Mike.
Okay, I'll bung thee a snout, Les. Now you know our names.
Now you know our names.
Mike's okay. After the holy saint. Mike with a hard K, like a kick, swift, not mad about Les.
It's soft, it's screwy, but choose it I did not. In my mother's hot womb did she curse this name on me. It's my handle, under the soft. It's spiky, under the pillow. It's sharp, concealed instrument. Offensive weapon lies waiting.
Oh, he doth bestride commercial road like a colossus. That's my manner, where we 2 first set our minces on each other, and those Irish yobs walk under our huge legs and peep about for dishonourable bother. He's my mucker, China, or mate.
And he mine since those days that leave 12 moons ago, when sailing out the Black Raven pub in Whitechapel, the self-same street where Blessed Jack did rip and tear, and cold, thick nights so long ago. Those muffled screams and slicing flesh, no more than sweetest memories of him that went so humble about his nightly graft. Tell how it chanced that we sworn mates were once the deadly poison of each other's eye.
He clocked the bird I happened to be fiancé to, my darling Sylv of legendary knockers, and I doth take it double strong at this short git in suede and rubber pimples sprouting forth like buttercups on sunny days from his greasy boat, that he should dare to lay upon her svelte and tidy form his horror-leering jellies. So I said to him, "Fuck off, thou discharged from thy mother's womb, before with honed and sweetened razor I do trouble to remove thy balls from thee."
Oh, I gushed. You fancied me around the back with boots and chains and knives behind the Super Cinema, it was then called, afore it came a cut-price supermarket.
Which we have well and truly robbed since then.
So round the back we went that night. Fog was falling fast. Our coat collars were up. Our breath like dragon steam did belch forth from our violent mouths, while at the self-same time we uttered uncouth curses, thick with bloody and unholy violence of what we would most like to carve upon each other's skulls. The crowd of yobs that formed a ring of yellow faces in the lamplight.
Right.
Hungry for the blood of creatures nobler and more daring than themselves.
Right.
We'd dribble down their loathsome mouths. They leered and lusted for our broken bottles and cold steel to start the channels, gouging in our white and precious cheeks.
I thought, now fuck this for a laugh.
That's right.
So what if sly old Sylv had led me on a touch by showing out to all the lads, provoking hard-ons and gang wars between opposing tribes from Oxton to Tottenham?
From Bethnal Green to Horsey Town.
From Poplar up to Islington, the clash of steel and crunch of boot on testicle has long disturbed the citizens of those battle-scarred manors, and blue bottles with truncheons hard as irons have had their helmets
and their heads
sometimes removed by rude and lusty lads, complete with knuckle dusters and iron bars nicked from their dads.
Any old iron, any old iron, any old iron.
Honest and trusty trade upon the streets, we thought. Now, fuck this for a laugh.
But we could hardly turn back now with 5 and 50 Chinas egging us on there, with shouts of, "Come on, Les, cut off his cock and punch the fucker's head in."
Come on. Cut off his cock and punch the fucker's head in.
Or destroy him, Mike, for fuck's sake, don't just stand there.
Destroy him, Mike. For fuck's sake, don't just stand there. In there, nip him in the nose. What heart is for recent turd?
Yeah.
Use your iron. Put the boot in with the shrieks of bollocks.
Slurp.
Dog face.
And fucking hell.
Smash.
Hit.
Get it.
Anoint the cup with death.
One cried with voice so vehement, "O Sylv, it was thee, yes, thy gentle voice did sway me finally to deal out pain. Then in I went like paste. I flashed my razory, which danced about his face like fireflies, reflecting in the cold, wet streets the little yellow gas light, till the sheet of red that splat from out of his pipes did dull it. Just felt that soft thud, twat, as knife hits flesh. You know the feel. It's soft and hard at once and gives you collywobbles and thrilldrums of pure joy."
My pure and angel face, my blessed boat did on that sacred night receive his homage. Red did flow. I knew my cheeks was gaping open like a flag, but never mind. To stop the tide, I stopped myself from kissing death flush on the lips. I held it with my hand, held what I could while trickling through my fingers ran my juices sweet as life.
Yeah,
Braveness. Hard man.
And then I simply said, "You cunt." Just that. You cunt. I'll shit down scorpions of pain upon thee. I'll eat you. Get it? My iron found his skull where he had just begun to move, but left enough for me to bang and crash a dash, enough bone there to bend and shift a bit, split off and splint a bit of brains. His brain, splatter, the lad said.
Oink.
And arseholes.
Fucking hell.
Too far thou art gone and really farted death on him.
Ah, shit.
Have it away before the Lord doth mark us for accessory.
So off they flew, left me for dead, and Les near dying too in pools of his own blood. He choked. The steel had bit too deep. I felt the silence creeping in and found myself in an old movie, silent-like and flickering to its end. So what? What's it all about?
Alfie.
Those cunts have left us shitting pants their own while we slosh around in guts. They watched, were nicely freckled by our gore, and thought, "Let's scarper now. We had our fun. Those cunts are done. Let's piss off. For the law should stride with boots hobnailed in woe to grab us in their fat and old claws."
We picked ourselves and all our bits from off the deck and fell into each other's arms with "what the fuck?" and flashed a quirky red-soaked grin at our daft caper, thinking, what a bloody sight. We can't jump on the 19 bus in our condition, looking like what they hang up in Smithfields, those bloody sides of beef for those of thee unversed in the geography of our fair state. So did we crawl and hop, stagger and slide. Hold on, Mike, nearly there. Don't die in Bald Pond Road, you Burke. Grip hard. I only had a pint or two of rosy red in my tired veins myself. The rest I used to paint the town with. Would I have strength enough to get there with my newfound mate, whose brains were peeping out the top of his broke patch? Would I not conk out in the street at Aldgate East, untimely end, dear Les of youthful folly, our mums and dads with bellow, wine and oily tears at our sad stones? We had those visions come and go. They tell sad stories of the death of kids who lived not wisely but too well.
We were in love the time we stumbled into the casualty at Charing Cross and fell into the arms of white-gloved saints who sewed a nifty stitch or 10. No questions asked. And when John Lord had come up and Mum to visit us, we pleaded we were set upon by those vile cunts from Tottenham.
Who picked on us
The innocent.
to avenge some deadly feud.
From bygone days. The two of us got thick as tea leaves in a pot that stewed too long and hatched out in our white and cosy starched beds a dozen saucy plots of murder, armed assaults and robbery with harm.
Bank raids so neatly planned in dead of night.
Of rapes delight we chat.
Exchange a tale or two of cold-blooded deeds we done in alleys dark as hell.
And other heinous escapades.
Too heinous to retell.
Yeah, that's how it happened. Yeah, that's it.
He was a bitch.
A slag of advanced vile.
Pint of filth.
But still, she was nice.
Scene 2. Silent film sequence. Piano. A silent film now ensues, performed in the staccato, jerky motion of an old movie. It shows Mike calling on Sylv, meeting Mum and Dad, going for a night out. Sylv is attracted to Les, a mock fight. They're separated, and Sylv's long monologue comes from it. The movie sequence reinforces and fills in the events of scene 1. Scene 3, Sylv's long speech. There she was there.
At it they went. It weren't our fun at first. It weren't my fault, those jesting, jousting lads should want a torment of hurt and crunch and blood and shriek. All on my dress it went. That's Mickey's blood, I thought. It seemed to shoot up from something that cracked. I saw him mimicking an oil well. Though he'd taken off many things for a laugh, this time I did not laugh so much. They fought for me. Thy blood, my royal Mick, was shed for me, and never shall the suds of Purcell or Daz remove that royal emblem from that skirt that many times you gently lifted in the Esseldo Bethnal crane. I was that monument of flesh thy wanton hands would smash and grab. I only clocked the other geezer, Mike, and can I help it if my proud tit should draw the leery eyes of feast on them? And now a hate doth sonder our strong love, and nevermore will my soft thighs be prized apart by his fierce knees with "Open them, thou bitch, before I ram a knuckle sandwich in thy painted boat." Oh, I missed him, true. In spite of all, and did not wish to see him smashed and broken like a bloody doll. But now the bastard blameth me for all, and seeks vile vengeance on my pretty head, which, if he tries, will sorely grieve my brothers Bert and George, who will not hesitate to finish off the bits that Les did leave. But all this chat of violence I hate is ultra horrible to me that thrives on love and tongue-wrenched kisses in the back of MG Sprites with a stop. I'm not like that. Oh, just for now, which doth ensure a second date. So hold a morsel back, girls, and who'll crave it all the more.
Scene 4. Mike and Les commence "If You Were the Only Girl in the World," which covers the bringing on of the only props, a table and chairs. On the table, a toast, a teapot with steaming tea, a tureen of baked beans, a packet of margarine. In fact, the normal tea time scene. They sit around the table and eat. During Dad's long speech, he eventually destroys everything on the table in nostalgic fury. The table and contents become a metaphor for the Battle of Cable Street. His rage becomes monstrous and gargantuan. Ma and Pa.
Mum,
What?
what time's the Y50 come on?
What time does it come on?
Yeah,
I don't know, dear.
she doesn't know. She watches it every night. She doesn't know.
What's a proletariat?
The geezer who lassoes goats on the Siberian mountains.
In one word, I mean 6 letters.
A panorama's on first. Yeah, that's worth an eyeful. Then we can catch Ironside, turn over for the Saint, and cop the last act of Schoenberg's Moses and Aaron.
Charlton Heston was in that.
Machinery has taken all the joy out of work. The worker asks for more and more money until he breaks down the economy hand in hand with the unions, who are communist dominated and make the country ripe for a takeover by the Red Hordes.
You haven't paid the licence.
She's a consumer on the market, that's all. Not even a human being, but a consumer who's analysed for what she buys and likes by a geezer offering her a questionnaire at the supermarket. Makes her feel important. I try to educate it, but 'tis like pouring wine into the proverbial leaking barrel.
Suppose they come round.
Nobody visits us anymore.
They might, then you'd go to court and it would be all over the Acne Gazette.
You don't want to believe all that rubbish about detective vans. That's just to scare you. Make you think that they're on your tail. Anyway, if anyone knocks on the door, we can whip the telly out sharpish like and hide it in the lavatory until they're gone. Simple. Say, oh, there's been a mistake. Your radar must have been a few degrees out and picked out the hairdryer performing on her curlers.
But anyone can knock on the door. You'd have to start running every time someone knocks.
When's the last time we had a visitor? Especially since the lift's nearly always broken by those little black bastards who've been moving in. And who's going to climb 24 floors to see us? Except the geezer for the Christmas money. So if anyone knocks on the door, it can be only one of two things. The law inquiring after Mike, since they think he's just mugged some old lady for her purse, or the TV licence man. In either case, I can shove it in the loo.
Mike doesn't do things like that. I won't have you uttering such dreadful libels. My son takes after me. You won't find him taking after you. He's kind to old ladies, helps them across the road on windy days.
It was only a subtle jest, you hag. Thou lump of foul deformity, untimely ripped from thy mother's womb. Can't you take a flaming dash of humour that I so flagrantly waste on you, eh? What then? What bleeding then? Thank God he's not a pufter, at least, already so soon, eh? Where would you put your face then? If he took after me, the country would rise to its feet, give itself an almighty shake, and rid itself of all the fleas that are sucking it dry. He could have, Ozzy. Ozzy knows he had the right ideas, put them into uniforms, into the brown shirts, gave people an identity. His meetings were a sight. All them flags. Yeah, then they knew what to do. Take the law into your own hands when you know it makes sense. That beautiful summer in 38, was it? Yeah, when we marched 6 abreast to Whitechapel. Beautiful it were. Healthy young British men and women, a few wooden clubs, just in case they got stroppy down there. Just the thoughts of the people letting the nation know it weren't stomaching any more of it. The drums banging out a rhythm in the front of Ozzy, marching at our head. We get to Aldgate. If you didn't know it was Aldgate, you could smell it. And there was us few loyal English telling the world that England is for us. And those long-nosed gits, those evil-smelling greasy kikes, had barricaded up. You couldn't even march through England's green and pleasant, the land where Jesus set his foot. They had requisitioned Aldgate and Commercial Road. Our lads, what did they do? Not turn back, not to be snivelly turncoat, but let them have it. They soon scattered back into the tailor's shop, sticking a fried fish and dead foreskins. And with a bare fist, few bits of wood, we broke a skull or two that day. But Hebrew gold had corrupted our fair law and we were outnumbered. What could we do? The oppressed still living there under the Semite claw, sweating their balls out in those stinking sweatshops, could only shout, "Come on, lads!" They had no stomach for it, no strength. It was for them that we had to get through. But we were outnumbered. The Christian soldiers could not get through this time, not then. And what happened? I'll tell you what happened. By not getting down Commercial Street, by not getting down Whitechapel, Ailey Street, Commercial Road and Cable Street, Lehman Street, we opened the floodgates for the rest. The Pandora's bleeding box opened and the rest of the horrors poured in. That's what happened, mate. Oh, what's the time?
8 o'clock.
Ah, we've missed Crossroads.
Blackout. Scene 5. A table and its contents are splattered to the floor from prior speech. Mum wipes it up. The 5 chairs now become a row in a cinema. We see the different films by the piano, suggesting the theme from a weepy, a western, and the characters relating to them all. Mike chats up Sylv. Dad goes to the toilet off stage, much vomiting and noise. People change seats. Sylv leaves and Mike follows. Chat is improvised until we see the scene with Mike and Sylv in How the Two Fought for the Possession of. During it, Dad and Les become chorus and mates of Mike. Scene 6. How the Two Fought the Possession of.
She were ingredients of flesh pack, suavely fresh, deodorized and knicker white, lip gleam and teeth, shoes thick wedged and seam running up the back of her leg as if to point the way to tourist purity lost.
Hello, darling. Fancy free a chat, a meal, a stroll, a drink in the cotton ball surrounding a baby sham or two, and plethores of witty verbiage spewing from my gutter mouth, with a laugh or two? They say a laugh doth provide the key to open Pandora's box of dirty tricks.
Peace off, thou lump. Thou hast no style for me. Get lost. Too old, too young, too slow. I'm too trim for thee, and move like what you can dream about on good nights. I'm sheer, unadulterated, pure filth. Each square inch a raincoat's fantasy. All there was swelled full. I am the vision in your head, the fire you used to stoke your old wife's familiar stoves. You know what I mean. Sag knot, pink tip, tight box, plumbing perfect, switches on and off at the right touch. Not thy thick-fingered labourer's paws, thou slob and street corner embellishment, thou pin-table musician. Thy flesh would ne'er move, would shrink under the my glare. So try.
Tasty verily, so thou, bitch, seeks to distress my Johnny Tool with psychological warfare, humiliating it into surrender shrink. I'll descend on thee like a moon probe, thou planet of the lights fleshy. Advance my antennae, vibrating back to the lust computerizing cells, the sanguine goodies that do lie unmined. I'll chart thy surfaces until thou criest from within thy depths, subterranean and murky and fetid swamps. Mike, oh, Mike! Fluting gurgle falsettos from thy lips of coral. What dost thou do? I'll rip off my clothes and gabardine and make thee view the sight that sent Penelope mad, and wait 10 years for that. The girth of a cyclops to stun, to stab, screams like Attila, growls, snarls, froths, foams, and speaks to you in 1,000 ways. The length of an ass, the stamina of a Greek, the form of Michelangelo's David, as solid as a rock, as tricky as a fox, as live as a snake, as delicate as a rose. The speed of a panther, reflexes match the pristine power of the flying Scotsman, as hot as hell, as pretty as Paris. Its helmet matches the battering ram that felled the walls of Troy. Balls like the great cannon that Pompey used to subdue the barbarian, as rich in goodies as the Tiber burst in its banks. Its juices as sweet as the honey from the little wasps of Lesbos that only live a day. As sweet as the dripping that mum puts on a Sunday joint. And with the magic scepter that laser-like splits and cracks through walls. I'll fill you full, till thou not feel one shred of space not occupied by flesh, blood, spletch, filled slurp, tongue-tied, lava flow, flesh eats. Where thy arse rises creamily, mocking Bertarelli's ice cream, the trembling domes of the mosques of Omar bounce, weave, bob, groan, and whine. Oh, you're the springtime after fierce winter. Bud sprout, opening, little whisper in the hawthorn. Oh, I thought thy planet shook then. Caught thee then the world, did it? Pandora's box teases open. Does it with a yes? Yes, yes. No, no, yes, 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 yes.
Scene 7. Sylv's longing speech.
I, for once, would like to be a fella. Unwholesome both in deed and word, and lounge around one-leg cocked up and car keys tinkling in my pinky. Give a kick at talent, strolling and impale them with an impertinent fixed stare, hand in Levi Strauss and teeth grinding, and that super unworrisome flesh that toys between your thighs that we must deflect and kneel to, that we are beaten across the skull with, which I could cruise around and pull those tarts and slags whose hearts would break as he swiftly chews up and spits us out again. The almighty boot. Nay, not fair that all those pricks get all the fun. With their big raucous voices and 12 weekly fucks, cave mouth, shout, burp and Guinness soaked, if I dare do that. Well, what an old scrubber, slaghead, out of their vast and vicious lips. So I'd like to be a fella. Strolling down the front with the lads and making minute and limited wars with knife wounds splattered and infective splurge, and not have the emblem of scummy lust to parcel out with hectic scrub. Just my Johnny tool to keep me from harm and out of mischief, my snarling beastie to water and feed from time to rotten time. To dip my wick in any old dark and hot with no conscience or love grown. Doth he possess the plague in gangrene bliss to donate to me and not give a shit? I am snarled beneath his bristly glass-edged jaw, beneath a moving sack of leer and hard, and be a waif spin for his excessive and embellishments. And no, not tonight, my friend. A dangerous time is here, in case your tadpoles start a forest fire in my oven, or just a bun. You won't, will you? You will be careful. Yeah, you won't. Not inside. No, not tonight. Doth thou not love me then, he quests, nor feel my intense pain? Then see me not again, for you must sacrifice thou altar of lust, pink and pornographia to my tempered, sullen and purple swollen flesh. Oh, Mickey, wait until tomorrow. Tomorrow I might be dead, he chants, in a degree of minor key. By then my softly flesh may lie in shreds and curling on the streets, a victim of nuclear aggro from the powers that deal out death on whole-scale sale and liquidize your little Mick to tar. And what was once a silken mass of moving ecstasy programmed by filthy, raunchy lust lay now a charred and bitter heap. Oh, who can put it back again? Those swivel hips, ball-bearing joints, flicker spine and tongue like a praying mantis. So listen, he adds, dunk-head and spatter-paw, seize the time before thou dost seize thee. You of the intricate wrist and juice imbiber from the holy north and south. Give me all now, or it may with my balls explode. Such things are known in passions. Smarting angels are defined, and I may die in loathsome sickness here upon this plastic of my good divan. Mum and Dad, meanwhile, in deathly lock of wrath from heavy bingo, economic loss. So wrench open, deflower, unpeel, unzip, pull off, tear round, knees tight, get your shoes off, out, knickers caught on heel. Oh, zip hurts, dive in and out, more a whip like a visit, like a quick. Can't stay, just sheltering from the rain, cup of tea, hot and fast, hot plum, squirrel, scalp, mix of breathe, hello, a rash, and and humming, the hot fleshy climbs off, coming under four. And my tears, those holy relics of young love tracing mortal paths to Elysium down my cheeks, while he, with fag, choke and smoke, tooth grin, zip up, me lying, looking at the future, flashing across the ceiling, he flashing his comb through his barnet and reddened cheeks, blood soaked, like a saucy cherub. So lovable, and sometimes, you know how the boys have this lovely thing about them, some little boy habit that makes them adorable, crushable, eatable, sweetable, dolly, cuddable, though sometimes you could kill them. And me lying there in a pile of associate bone and floppy tits, fresh pinched and crack full of his slop containing God only knows what other infernos. But thought I tasted something very strange on his straining angle, which he wanted me offered to sacrificial like. Oh, let me be a bloke and sit back curseless, nor forever join the queue of curled birds outside the loo for dire emergency. Do we piss more than men or something? Nor break my heels in escalators and flash my arse ascending stairs to the vile multitude who fantasize me in their quick sex luster movies in which I am cast of the queen of slut and yield. Let me be a bloke and wear the trousers stuffed and have the pectorals instead of boobs, abdominals and latissimus dorsi, or a web of knotted muscular armature to whip my angered fist into the flesh pain of mouthy geezers who dare to cast on me their leery cautious minces, stab 'em with fear, and have a dozen flesh hot weekly. Sleep well and mum fussed. Breakfast shoved. Who's been a naughty boy then to this hasty wreck of skin and bone, gasping in the bed and skiving work through righteous folly, bloodlet assault and all-night bang, and our lad's a lad and sown his wild oats then, has he? You should cut yourself a slice. Well, get yourself to the office, Sylv, or you'll be late. And the sack is in bed he's parlouring for another cup of rosy. He's lying in bed while I'm on the underground getting goosed in the rush hour between Mile End and Tottenham Court Road by some creepy arsehole with dandruff, a wife and 3 accidental kids who's probably in the accounts department. Most perverts come from there.
Scene 8. Les comes downstage and mimes office scene. Says Miss Smith would please take this to the accounts department. As she complies, he gooses her and shrieks with maniacal joy, thus fulfilling the prophecy in her last speech. His leaping up and down dissolves into a seaside scene, Mike bouncing a ball. Sylv skipping, etc. Dad and Mum enter.
Years ago, things were good. You got value out of your money. $1 was 5 bob. A summer's day was hot and sunny like a summer's day. And you weren't short-changed. You got your full 12 hours worth. Then we take the train from Liverpool Street to Leon's Sea and walk to Southend. Go to the Kersal Amusements.
On the words Kersal Amusement, the cast become bumper cars, roller coasters, the ghost train. I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts is sung. What the butler saw, ice cream sellers, the carousel, swimming in the sea. Mum gets out the sandwiches and ties her. Sylv takes a photo, then so does Mike.
Smile, Mum.
She is smiling.
The scene should be improvised and the mime accurate and clear. The piano reinforces all the vignettes. It leaves Les alone on stage at the end of the last photograph. The scenes of fun at Southend delicately indicating Les's sense of isolation. Scene 9. Les's tale of woe when he did sup on porridge. I was lonely. You know what I mean. Just lonesome, basically, I think. Like, is one born that way? Always felt lonely, as if it was something like a habit or the colour of your hair. Like even a bit of clobbering now and then, the taste of pain and blood was like an act of love to me. So when 2 nifty lads went round the back to bundle, it could be like your bird that you pulled round for stand-up chavas. And sometimes you would pull, because you were lonely, basically, anything that came along. So she looked at me. Across the road, I give it a bit of chat. Just some bird of tender years or jailbait, if you like. Maybe 14 or 15. I said, meet me after work. She said, okay, why not? With a tiny giggle and freckles leaping all over the place. And I was working in this dump impersonating Frankenstein, a place where you stood round pretending to be busy. One of those stores where you try to con people into buying what they didn't want. A grimy little menswear shop, not a geary boutique, but full of rotten little grotty striped ties and collar studs. Don't forget to dust the cufflinks, Les. Straighten out the ties, Les, where you stood around dying and acquiring bare breath. Pop-eyed for a pathetic, wet customer to bleed. Horrible beige pullovers brought by the wives of Irish navies who'd come back to change it half a dozen times because we always bungled them, whatever size we had in stock. Don't take a swap, Les. Get their gelt. They can always change it. Incredible crummy blazers hanging in a rack like dead fish on parade. Shirts with drab little collars and a million pins in two-tone checks that hangmen and clerks would buy with shit-coloured ties to go with them. And maybe a cardigan in maroon, this month's colour. The wives trotting round the mirror anxious for their 50 bob. The manager's lonesome mask that he wears for a face creases like Fu Manchu. A nice tie to go with it, sir. How are you fixed for shirts? Okay. His eyes look like 2 gobs of phlegm. He sits in the back room where they keep those fucking horrible wire front pants that make you look like a rupture case. He'd sit there so greasy you could fry him in that dirty little back room he'd be watching, having his crummy little tea break. Here, Les, go get us a cake, will you, son? A chocolate eclair or something. He's looked forward to tea break in a day that poured down boredom like yellow piss. His frog eyes bulging. In case you didn't sell the shop-soiled crew neck 6 sizes too big to some innocent black cunt. Yeah, it fits beautiful. Lovely shade. Goes with anything. He spits as he rushes out the back room like a great huge dirty spider with bits of eclair sticking to his revolting fat lips. Fuck me, Les, we got to top yesterday's figure. He squelched from the side of his mouth, a hiss like a rat's fart. But the black is confused by being surrounded by faces the colour of plague victims. All the wretched salesmen with bent knees and worn-out grins. Yellow-teethed vultures whose eyes vaguely send out a couple more volts every time the shop door opens. Only takes 30 minutes for lunch on Saturday. Busy day for shirts. Some slag says, that one in the window. Oh, show me which one you mean, love. Any excuse to escape and breathe some air, some fresh air fumes from the lorries and buses belching past, which is as fresh as a Scottish lock compared to the smell in the shop of rotten, cancered flesh, laced by a few farts when everybody scatters. Oh, fuck, Harry's farted again. Chortle Burke. All the macabre and twisted figures of humanity ooze through that deceased testament to Beau Brunet Nell, the charnel house of gabardine and worsened hell, the living corpses, slack-mouthed and brains waiting for 6 p.m. or death, one of the two, or both, hands in pockets, playing with anything that reminded them that they had a tiny dot of feeling left, standing there like it was a way of life. I was thinking that bird, which was making me very anxious about the hickory-dickory and the impatient to act out a few skin scenarios floating around in my skull at 6 p.m., the more closed for the night. I checked the gelt a half-inch. Not a bad day, a few ties wrapped around my waist, given a dozen pair of socks to my mate, and watched Mr. Greasy with fag hanging out his perpetual mouth check his cash. The cunt never found out because his brain was soaked in grease, his lungs in cancer and phlegm, and his jacket in dandruff. So I escaped from that place, wondering how I might burn to the ground with all of them frying in the manager's grease. I saw her as planned, and she was waiting for me like she said she would, and that had kept me going for the day. It had stopped me from going insane. The idea of the two of us fucking away at each other's goodies, that was something real, alive. That would give me a bit of meaning in my life. Us two locked away in a cozy little place where I could crawl out of my skin and get into hers, sweat, pant and shriek. So she was standing there, happy like it was Christmas, and she said yes. And I took her back to my pad, all freckled and giggling. And then she delivers her history in a funny Irish, how she's pissed off at home with a mad Irish dad who beats her, and whiles I pacify her with a quick, svelte, heroic in and out. So she says, could she stay with me since she's bound to be clobbered by her paddy daddy for being so late? I demurred to the riotous demand with full awareness to the law's nastiness to the souls who taste young flesh, and instruct her to the bus to take her back to evil Kilburn. Just 1 hour later, I was in the middle of some shrewd interpretations of the theory of relativity and just getting into the quantum theory and boggling how light would take 200 billion years to get around the universe when bang, bang at the door, two thick-eared, brainless cops come yobbing in, dressed in the kind of clobber I've been flogging all day, scaring the shit out of me and the cats. The mad Irish has gone to the Johnny Law with some mad tale of rape and kidnap to avoid chastisement at the hands of dirt-head dad, grabbing me with their thick fingers, not made for show pansitudes, while they call me dirty bastard and other unflattering epithets, while breathing their foul vomit breath in my face. I'll kill thee, I spray, hair on end. Not now, not tomorrow, but one day I'll eat your eyeballs. I'll bathe you in acid. I'll stab your fat guts with ice picks when lying in your bed, beer-soaked, bloated, thick with haze and swell like drunken pigs. I'll stab you and thrust until your tripe explodes, which doubtless did not go down well, since they pounded all manner of horny fist into my soft and sweet flesh, those harbingers of death, those wholesale legal sadists, those lawmen did believe the slag, which got her off the hook and rendered Can't of Blanche to them for fun and thump, and poor old Les before a graven magistrate is dragged, who chides and moralises about snatching too young for me while thinking of his handicap in bed and golf and house in Esher, Surrey, his furtive weekly whore and sessions of paid lash, looking down at me from dizzy heights. He says he would be lenient, and I reply from the bottom of my black and lion soul of heartfelt sorrow, never again. And then he said, 3 years I curse on thee. And as he did, I heard my mouth reply that he would die a death in fire so slow he'd rather be eaten by ants while bathed in honey. And as they dragged me screaming down some cold stone corridors, my shouts sent curses ripping through his skull, and now my curse comes true.
So how did you kill him, Les?
I doubt if I should let on now, lest hungry ears attend. You do not know whose flappy lugs may bring a fate too horrible for verbs upon my lovely head, but content yourself, I did.
There's no one here but us and our rabid desires.
I think I hear the beating of 100 hearts.
Only us and our imaginations, as foul as Vulcan's stithy.
What are those sighs and murmurs? Soft groans?
The punters who paid for a seat to witness thy foul and cruel beauty, that will haunt them in their dreams.
You mean we're in a play?
Something of that kind.
I am not, even if you may be.
You mean to say?
Exactly. You sussed it true. I am no player who struts and frets his hour upon the stage and then is heard no more.
You guessed all right. I am that merry wanderer of the night.
You've made a time slip into the wrong play.
I'm caught in a time-space trajectory.
Can you see me? I can only just see you.
Yes, but you're fading fast. What's happening?
I think you've hooked on to the errant radio wave from the C-56. Your own waves are sacrificing themselves to its force until your antimatter coalesces.
Fuck! What can I do?
Nothing. Just go with it. I'll tell your mum and Sylv.
Okay. See you around sometime. I've lost you now. Can you hear me?
Only just. See ya. The whole cast becomes involved in the latter part of the scene, floating slowly in space until Mum settles down with legs comfortably sprawled over Dad on 2 chairs stage left. The 3 other actors face off stage, and Mum is lit in her own space. She takes out a cigarette and commences her speech. Scene 10, Mum's point of view. Dad is sleeping.
Sometimes I get gorged in my throat. I see him sleeping. Lumpy, sweaty, beer gutted, farty. No hope. Thick-brained and me the other half of nothing, fed with the electric media swill. Consumer me, Hawaii 50, Z-Cars, Coronation Street, Beat the Clock, University Challenge, Sunday night at the London Palladium, on the buses, play of the month, play of the week, watch with mother, tea, fags, light, bitter. Ha, ha, ho, ho, bingo. Eyes down, clickety-click. What the papers say, Red Varney, the London shoot, live letters, tits, the Green Shield stamps. Hello, dear, how are you? Turn over and shut up and let me sleep. Fart, belch the music of the spheres. Got a clean shirt? Who's running at Epsom? 500 more troops being flown in tonight. The pill is safe. Abortions rise. I would like to practice today Tippett Sonata No. 3. 6 hours of it. I must be ready for my BBC recital on Wednesday, and then I may pair it with Mozart's concerto in C. Tilly Riley, mind you, needs dexterous finger work. I'll leave that for now and pick up my percolator at the Green Shield shop. Wall's pork sausages for supper and Frey Bento's peas. McDougall's flour for a smooth pastry. Do I smell? Does my mouth taste like an ashtray? Will my lover meet me after I play Brunhilde in the ring at the stage door to Covent Garden and buy me a filet mignon in that Rules Cafe at the Savoy? Will we drink champagne and discuss our next production of Verdi's Othello? He's longing to play Othello, but wants Bernstein to direct. I'd be happy with Visconti, really. Maria's coming to tea. Must get some lines, jam tarts. I read Hemingway in the Brasserie Lit today. He said my poetry soars to heaven. Come and have some wine with Gertrude. There will be very nice people there.
Shut your gob. Can't you let me bleeding sleep?
Scene 11, Mike and Les.
How's Doris, the imbiber of thy resin with her holy north and south?
All right?
Seeing her tonight?
No.
Oh, what happened?
Loaded off her box to others' greedy paws.
Almighty slag.
I told her to get to a nunnery. In other words, piss off.
I thought you were a bit touchy.
I was on a bus today. I jumped on the 38 going towards Bulls Pond Road, the one that goes to Leighton. I mounted at Holborn, just been to the British Museum to look at the Elgin marbles, which were double fare but too big to half inch. And I was standing, since there were no seats, in the recesses where the Clippy normally stands. You know, when it's quiet, she stands there chatting and making thin jokes to the seats and that face each other, having a quiet fart as the bus makes its last journey down Piccadilly, up Shaftesbury Avenue, you know, past Jesus Christ, up Charing Cross, past that cinema showing I Was a Go-Go Dancer in the Saigon brothel, spins round the Centre Point Synagogue, skates down Holborn, up Mount Pleasant Post Office, where the Spade post office workers are skiving in the betting shop, past the Angel, where Joe Lyons used to be, where one's mum supped famous cups of Rosie amidst merry parlance, now boarded up, down Essex Road, past Collins Music Hall, now a rotten wood yard, past Alfredo's Cafe, you know, the one that gets great toasted liver sandwiches, steaks past the ABC, now a shitty bingo hall, to the end of Essex Road, now a cash bar full of shish kebab.
A veritable tour of our golden city.
Shall I continue?
Pray do.
Anyway, I jumped on at Holborn, stood in the recesses where the Clippy stands, when I saw the most awful cracker. Right, darling, I stood there clocking it, wanting her to get the message, dulcet filth. She was blonde with medium-length hair, dyed straw but soft and straight, and her legs phenomenal. She had this short skirt on, and it had tucked gently between her legs in case she flashed her magic snare to some snatch bandit like me. And faces jumped on and off, never quite hiding my angel from me. But those legs with well-carved calves pouring into some very high, thick wedge shoes. She was a darling. I could have breakfast out of her knickers. So sweetly pure she was. I could have drunk the golden nectar from that fountain. I could have loved her.
What?
Wrapped her legs round my throat, her bright ass trembling in my hands. Divine she was, and wore dark glasses, but not so dark I couldn't see that faintest glint she occasionally clocked me Vada in her like an ogre with a hard-on, ready to leap across the bus and say, "Darling, climb aboard this." But she was almost too perfect. I stood all the way, unable to leave, like a sentinel at the post, and my lover was there. And I thought Mike, I thought of Doris, and I thought of all the fat scrubbers I get with soggy tits. I thought of all those dirty scrubbers and how just once in my life I'd like to walk down the street with that. Why don't we chat up classy, Snatch? Why is it we have to pull slags? We pull what we think we are, Mike. It's tumbled then, it's dropped, the dirty penny, that we get what we are. What we think we are. So when we have a right and merry laugh with some unsavoury bunk up or gangbang behind the Isoldo, we are doing it to ourselves. We're giving ourselves what we deserve. It came to me. Then, here it was, the most delectable snatch in the world, real, with those incredible pins, and clean. And then she stirred just ever so little it was, but she knew I was lapping it up. She was going, but maybe my wires got through to her, and she thought, why not give that geezer, he's not a bad-looking bloke, a flash. And she uncrossed her divine thighs. I swiveled my sockets up there, and some creep moved right in front of her, but I just caught the slightest glimpse of heaven. The clouds passed over the sun, but it reappeared again. She stood up on the platform, waiting to leap off at Farringdon Road with that thin skirt on, a thin black cotton skirt. God, she must have known that the sun pours through that skirt. No slip, just her amazing fucking form up to the arse. She was naked, standing there waiting for the bus to stop at Mount Pleasant when she jumped off. And I wanted to jump off, Mike. I wanted to get off the bus and run after her. But what could I say? She strode down the street, strong on those delirious pegs with those nasty post office workers leering her beautiful form with their dim and faded jellies. And I couldn't get off the bus. I didn't have the guts. I didn't know what to say to her, Mike. What verbal could my gob spout? And then I saw her cross into Clerkenwell Road when she disappeared.
38 bus? You want to get yourself a motorbike?
Scene 12. The two lads wander upstage to a special spot. Mike turns Les into a motorbike, jumps on his back, using Les's arms as handlebars. The two clearly create the sound of a motorbike revving up and changing gear during the scene. The strength of the engine and the movement as it careers round corners should be apparent. Oh, for adventures.
I am a Harley Davidson with 8 hangers, or maybe I am a chop-up made to measure to fit me. A built-in Triumph 5000cc, a Yamaha, or a Suzuki, but 1500cc. Yeah, but who wouldn't mind a Vincent HRD 10,000cc?
With apes?
No, not on your Vincent HRD. It's too classy. Not on that. That's sacrilege. At 150 a ton and half of a sublime speed, tearing gut, flailing flesh pulled, your glasses stabbing in your eyes, ice ripping off your face, the vibrations pulsating through each square inch of skin between your thighs, paralyzed. At 2000cc, my throttle twist grip lightly, oh, so delicately held, not too much rev. We skate. We fly. Between my thighs, I grip her tight. She won't budge, won't skid. Road clears for us. It opens up like a river. The cars fighting, families in VWs and Fords with dogs and kids smearing up the rear windows, and granny spouting they ought to be exterminated. Standing still, they seem. We streak past the Potses and hairdressers in Minis, Sprites, MGs, menswear salesmen in green Cortinas or ancient Cadillacs, driven by aging movie stars, cruising for rough trade and liking the leather-lined boys with long records of glorious GBH tattooed on the helmets of their cocks. I slow down to 150 miles an hour and chat it up. Her face is hanging off her skull. She sees what grows between my knees and creams her jeans. Stop, James, she says, and we split down at Joe's Cafe at the intersection where the M1 sludges reluctantly off into Luton. I mean, who wouldn't be? There, behind the cafe, behind the Pantachinokans and articulated lorries, I ram into her ancient north and south. Take out your teeth, you old slag. And I leave her with a happy grin on her toothless, wretched boat. James carries her off with a nod, suggesting, here we go again. Never mind, it's all in a day's work. Start up my beauty once more, nice and gently. Oh, now I feel it coming to life, warming, buzzing down there. She's loving it. She's randy now. Now kicks the starter in the Jexy. Smash the brute down. She rises like it had teeth, like it was hungry, like it knew where to go. And she sings to me. Everything's checked. Everything's beautiful, all checked.
Headlamp, tail lamp, pilot bell, carburetor, auto jet tail, position, float chamber, signal spot, ready to start, how long, stand aside, turn on the open your throttle. Right, lovely, yeah. Song.
I am Harley Davidson. I am a Vincent.
I am Vincent HRD.
I fly like a king.
I fly like a king. I kill like a sting. I smash down the road.
I crash those other
those hell angels like
toad. Underneath the arches.
Underneath the arches. The two boys separate and become a raging duet, a raging duet, enacting their passions for the bike. At the end of the song, which is screamed out, they go into Underneath the Arches, sung delicately, which covers the next dining scene, and the table is brought on in the condition it went off. Dad repeating the first part of the speech again. Scene 13, Dad's soliloquy for happier days.
Years ago, things were good. You got value out of your money. $1 was 5 bob. Summer's day was hot and sunny, like a summer's day. You weren't shortchanged. You got your full 12 hours worth. Then we took the train from Liverpool Street to Leigh-on-Sea and walked to Southend, go to the Kursaal Amusements. It was fun then. On Sundays, you get cockles and whelks from Tubby Isaacs on the corner of Galston Street, eat them outside and walk down Wentworth Street to the station past the warehouses. Got the sandwiches, Mum?
Yeah, all packed. What the Tizer? Your Mike only 5 then before he saw the inside of a detention centre on Birstall. That was his bad environment, that was. All those dirty, rough-necked Irish bog diggers whose kids set him up to snatch handbags. Never got it from me. Never mind. Then we jump on the train, Mum and Ethel, her sister. She doesn't half gas, but what a laugh.
Who's Ethel?
You know. Big fat Ethel covered in walls. No disrespect, but she looked like a tree trunk coming down the road.
Did she suffer from tree trunk legs?
Elephantiasis is the correct medical name. I looked it up. Here, young Mike was a terror even then, unscrewing the light bulbs and chucking them out the window.
Well, I did that.
Yeah, of course you did. All the way down to Southend. Bop, 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 bop.
I never.
Yes, you did. 5 years old you were. You stood on me shoulders. I still have the bill on the sideboard from Eastern Region. They banned us in the end. We go up the station and say 5, please, and they'd say, piss off out of it. No more light bulbs. Yeah, you remember? We became known as No More Light Bulbs, weren't we, Mum?
What?
Ah, never mind. The East End was rough then, still up down, and the kids would catch the water skaters from those septic, rancid tanks near the bomb sites. All the Abes used to sit outside in Anthony Street because they liked to natter, and would you believe it? They had the nerve to open a theatre where you had to understand Yiddish. What a gall. Many a time I've been over there for a quiet afternoon kip, paid me 1 and 6, and they'd say, you understand Yiddish? And I'd say, what do you mean Yiddish? And they'd say, piss off out of it.
In the middle of London.
It's not like a language, it's like a code.
You're right, son. It's a bloody secret code.
Do you know any, Dad?
Yeah, of course I do. I do know a bit. I went to night school.
Say something then.
All right, let's see. Turn the cogs back a bit. My life. Yeah, that's Yiddish. That's 4,000 years old, that phrase.
That sounds English to me.
Of course it's not bloody English. It's 4,000 years old. That stems from the art of Yiddisherland. Been fooling the bloody Arabs for years, that phrase. Walking down Jerusalem High Street, they're all going, my life, my life. They haven't a bloody clue. They think it means something else. They think it means the tanks are coming. Of course it doesn't.
What's it mean?
What's it mean?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what it means. My life actually means my life.
What's bloody secret about that?
I'm glad you asked that. You think that because it's a foreign land, it's a foreign code, but it's not. And that's the whole point. You get it? You dumb schmuck. Anyway, we go on a train on that hot Sunday morning, music playing in Liverpool Street Station. Still do that, do they? We'll meet again. I don't know where. Vera Lynn, magnificent woman. She's 96, you know.
No.
Yeah, I went to school with her.
You were at school with her?
I was at school in the same class. We were very close friends.
But you ain't 96.
Of course I'm not 96, you stupid bonehead.
Well, how could you be in the same class?
Well, she was a slow learner. She didn't start her school until 43 on account of her disease. Yeah, very backward. She used to sing all the time. What do you mean sending her up? She's done more for her country than you have. She served in 4 bloody world wars, she has. At the bloody front serving. What do you know about it, you bloody raging, super-rating faggot?
I don't know what you mean.
She was honoured by our great and glorious Queen. She went down to Buck House last week in our great and glorious Jubilee year. 96 years old. Knelt before the Queen. She's not just bleeding old boring Vera from Bethnal Green anymore.
Ah, what's she now?
Sir Vera. Yeah, you fell for that one. Well, it's true. Anyway, Sunday morning, Vera singing in Liverpool Street Station, past Hackney, and then head up for the coast. What a laugh we had then, eh? Candy floss, the train out to the end of the pier singing, roll out the barrel, we'll have a barrel of fun. Listen to that, sung to the rhythm of the train. We'll have a barrel of fun, we'll have a barrel of fun. Wholesome stuff. You know, yeah? Never knew what the pox was in those days. Didn't exist, except on the blacks. No one got near them or on a few scabby Chinese off the boats in the West India Dock Road. Pack of Woodbines was a shilling and a pint was 10 pence halfpenny.
9 pence.
Oh, the oracle has spoken. What'd she say?
9 pence.
9 pence. 9 pence. She's right. She's right. Tell a lie, it was 9 pence. Doris was all right in those days. She weren't falling apart with all that grease, makes you sick. I wonder why women become such old cart horses after they marry. After Mike came, her tits dropped so low, they could be seen dangling at the end of her miniskirt, which she never should have worn. Mini at 50? And all she's got in her box is a space. You could climb in for a quiet snooze like the other night.
Scene 14. Scene of the two in bed.
Fred,
What?
are you fucking me?
No.
Yes, you are. I can hear you.
Blackout. Scene 15. Mum's lament.
He's a dirty bastard at his age. If he comes home pissed out of his head, he grabs me and calls me his doll. I'm used to being left alone now. Get no sensation in no more. Years of neglect have taken away the edge. So when he starts on me, it's like being assaulted. It's dirty. We always keep our underwear on in bed, just his horrible belchy breath. Once he belched in my mouth as he was giving me a reeky kiss. I slapped him so hard he let out an enormous fart. That made me so cross. I slapped him again and he pissed out the bed laughing. We haven't kissed since then. I could still do it, I've got no doubt. Just the desire's faded. I almost did once have an affair, a short one. I was in the Poplar Cinema, just past the Troxy off Commercial Road. It's now been condemned, I think, watching Anna Neagle in that beautiful film, Spring in Park Lane. Some geezer started to fiddle with my skirt and then touch my suspenders. I was about to speak my mouthpiece when I thought, shut up, Doris, behave like a bloke, dirty like. So I did. His hand was very slowly lifting up my skirt, so slowly like he was afraid that at any second he'd feel an axe coming down on it. Go on, boy, I thought. And he was only a kid. Fuck me, just a sweet kid of 16 or 17. Couldn't see me in the dark, and I didn't like to look shy like. Well, he took my hand, rather boldly, I thought, and placed it on his chopper. Cheeky! And he had a beautiful silky hot one already primed and juicy. I was getting ever so flushed, and each time the usherette went past, we'd freeze like two statues. I kept on pumping away, and he'd fumbling with my cami knickers, that is, and then it shot out all over the back of the seat. Whoosh!
Oh, what's that?
Dad in the front seat reacts as if the great whoosh of sperm had landed on his head. Looks up as if something has landed on him from the balcony. Goes off stage, mumbling. Mum then continues with her speech.
The film had just ended, and an eagle was just making up with Michael Wilding, and he was wiping his spunk off the front seat. Not Michael Wilding, this boy next to me. When the lights come on, oh dear, I did turn queer when I saw our Mike, dirty bugger, takes after his dad. I copped him out when we got home.
Scene 16. Les's speech, a night out. Fancy going down the Lyceum tonight? I double fancy that. The Lyceum music starts, and Les and Mike dance with invisible partners. Dad and Mum come on and dance in their own style. Sylv enters. Mike asks her to dance. The Andrews Sisters is playing on a tape. The dance of Mike and Les is stylish, 55 Lyceum style. A bar is created. Mum becomes barmaid. Much drinking goes on. A fight nearly starts. Everyone leaves. Then the two boys re-enter at a run, hit the centre spot. The music stops and the scene continues as before. Being as it's Sunday, we'll have Mr. Ted Heath, the famous band leader, not the acid bath murderer or notorious political impersonator come weekend transvestite, and Dickie Valentine in a blue gabardine, button 2, flat pockets, hip length, whistle and flute.
I'll wear a rollaway collar, a Johnny Ray collar, that sews out your neck, and a skinny tie, a slim gin.
French cuffs on a trouser with 15-inch bottom. What about the handsome Don Eagle tweed with DB lapels, button 1, patch pockets, drop loops, cross pockets on the trousers, satin lined, 18-inch slip up the arse on the jacket, skirted waist?
What, that one?
Yeah, it's beautiful. Fingertip length velvet collar, plenty of pad in the chest. Come on, Maury, I said, more padding. Of course, we were geary, we pulled.
Not all slags neither.
But you need wheels. No point in pulling without wheels, or you end up taking some scrubber down Edmonton and walking her all the way back to Commercial Road at 3 a.m, which, with as often as not, nothing to show for it except a J. Arthur reluctantly given at this point as a 6-inch horned and sharpened shiv menacing her jugular. When we got our wheels and we pulled handsomely, a much better quality of cunt. There was not much good quality cunt about then, and most of it were from Billingsgate. Les exits, leaving Mike in his spot. Scene 17. Mike's cunt speech.
I disagree with Les. We always found good cunt at the Lyceum. Friendly cunt, clean cunt, spare cunt, jeans and knicker stuff full of nice juicy airy cunt, handfuls of cunt, palmful grabbing the cunt by the stem, or the root, infantile memories of cunt, back row slides, slivery oily cunt, the cunt that breathes, the cunt that's nearly wrapped in cotton, in silk, in nylon, that announces, that speaks of thrust, that winks, that squeezed in a triangle of furtive cloth backed by an arse, a creamy, springly, billowy, cushiony, tight, clinging knicker, juicy, juice-ridden knicker, hot knicker, wet knicker, swelling vulva knicker, witty cunt, teeth, smiling the eyes, biting cunt, culture vulture cunt, finger biting cunt, cunt that pours, cunt that spreads itself over your soft lips, that attacks, cunt that imagines, cunt you dream about, cunt you create as a melba, a meringue with smooth sides, remembered from schoolboy's smelly first cunt, first foreign cunt, amazing cunt, cunt that protects itself and makes you want it even more cunt, cunt that smells of the air, of the earth, of bakeries, of old apples, of figs, of sour yeast, of fresh fig cunt. So, are we going, Les? We might pick up a bit of crumpet.
Scene 18. At the end of the last speech, the two boys return to the chairs. Mike starts slowly to speak the song, Daisy, Daisy, give me your answer, do, acting it out to Sylv, who reacts favourably, eventually. They all join in until it becomes a fracas. At the peak of the noise, when all are jumping up and down, shouting, Mike leaves the group, followed by Les. They share the next speech, remaining in two separate areas they opened the play with. Scene 19, Resolution. Mike and Les. The lines can be split or spoken together as suits the actors.
I'm sick of my house.
Sick of my family.
In fact, they make me sick.
I don't mind.
One day, like the brothers Cray,
Like Reg.
we'll be flying along happily,
Chopper in one hand.
the dagger in my flute.
We'll see the boys in Dean Street.
Hello, son, I'll have 100 suits.
The East End's my manor.
I mean, that's what we know.
Trolling down the green.
Ethnal to you.
Going down the lie.
I see him Strand
Kicking Cypriot Burks to death.
with Johnny and a gang.
Where's Big Harry gone?
And Curly King.
Where's Hard Arthur?
Where's all the men? Where's all the hard men?
Where have they been?
We'll open a pawn shop.
Knocking shop too.
We'll spring the Crays.
Handsome.
The Richardsons too.
We'll threaten and murder.
Connive and rob.
The law's on our side.
We'll play the slobs.
We'll get our piece.
We'll protect their bit of trade.
The hard porn and tit shows.
They'll give us our pay.
Every week.
Every week we'll eat at Mario's.
Where the hairdressers go.
We'll get fat.
We'll kill.
And we'll knife.
I hate all you pseudo bastards.
I hate you with my life.
We will not end our days in grain-born blight and stomp our hours away in fag-end waste and kiss the minutes till they budge while we toil in some stinking factory. But what's the future, lads, for us? Where were the stars when we were born that ordained that our birth and death should be stamped out like jelly babies in a jar to be sucked out and chewed, then spat out at the end to croak away before flickering light and filling forms of dull cues and stand behind the sacks of skin that are called men and women, translated into numbers crushed in endless files? We will not end our days like this, waiting, while Ma and Pa make little noughts and crosses upon coupons called hope or death. We will not end our days like this.
Bung us a snap, Les.
Okay, Mike. I'll donate to this now.
Now you
know our names.